Things, happy Friday. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday to each and everyone. As you know, we're looking forward for the weekend. Loads of games coming up later today, Saturday, Sunday. So we're looking forward for a hectic, weekend of games, talking about big games. We just saw some huge gameplay in the UEFA Champions League. The reggaeboyz players will be in action, I think, starting tomorrow, I think, and Saturday, Sunday. So, lots of stuff to look forward to for the weekend as well. But, blessings to the people, thanks for being here again, and blessings to the new ones, that's just popping up. And, Nicardo Media House, this is the Morning Insider Show. And, we're looking forward to talk about two reggaeboyz players today, Ravel, Morrison, and Shamar, Big, Rima, Bowser, Nicholson. You understand? So many names, for Shamar, Nicholson, man. So many names, talking about one player, is struggling at his club, and another player is struggling to get a signature, to get pen to paper for a football club. Where is Ravel at this moment? People, where is Ravel? And Ravel is the people them favorite. Yeah, Ravel is the people them favorite footballer. The people them top baller. The people them midfield maestro. Them say the reggaeboyz team don't have another Ravel Morrison in that midfield. Someone that who can do what Ravel can do on the ball. And I'm here to talk about the Ravel Morrison situation of no club. I have no idea. I have no rumors linking Ravel with any club at this moment. But is it time to just move on from Ravel Morrison? You could throw Shamar Nicholson in the mix if you want, but that's for another video. But is it time to say, is it time to move on from a Ravel? Is it that his time expired for the national team? The transfer window closed August the 31st, and now we are September the 20th, and 20 days into the month after the transfer window closed. Yeah, I know Ravel Morrison still can't sign for a football club. He's a free agent, you understand, but there's no club yet. There's no club, and we are in a crucial year. Yeah, we are in a crucial year of trying to make it to the World Cup. You understand? And I'm like, where is Ravel headspace? Where is his headspace? I've seen, he was training with the PFA free agent team, which he have done last summer as well, back to back summer. He's training with the PFA free agent team, looking for a club. And I'm going to say this as well, there's a few players from that selection of pools of players got a contract in League One, League 2, and in the Championship as well. So players got selected from that free agency group of players that training. The PFA is like, is an organization of a group that, they just found, group up some bunch of players as, who are playing the game on a professional level. They group up as a free agent. They get in, pre-season training from top quality coach. Just like what any other they going through any other drills like a professional team in the Championship, League 1 and League 2 would have gone through. Over the last couple of months during their pre-season process and all that. So they get in the right and proper training. But again, they're looking for a club, and Ravel, there's no club for Ravel. And I'm going to say, look, we out here crying out for Ravel that he needs to be around the team. Yes, there is a double standard around the team of when McLaren speak, you go against his words. You talk about Nicholson that he's not on farm, he's not getting enough minutes. Then you pick a Mikel Antonio, someone who have been without a club for the last probably a month and a half now. Got released from West Ham playing U21 football for West Ham and all that. But he's not playing the minutes. He's not, he's more of a pundit than a footballer at this moment. So what that tells you, he's talking about, the experience of Mikel Antonio, what he can do, his leadership in around the dressing room. It's important, and he want to commit himself to the national team. For we know all these stuff that he trying to buy into. Of giving him the opportunity, say, hey, Mikel Antonio is getting picked for the national team, so maybe a club will give him that opportunity. You telling me that a player like Mikel Antonio, yeah, these players are not serious about football. Like, you telling me that a player like Mikel Antonio, just got released from West Ham. I think he's West Ham leading goal scorer in the Premier League. Are you telling me that Mikel Antonio cannot find a football club? No, this is joke. This is joke. You telling me that Mikel Antonio cannot find a team? It's double standard. And talking about Ravel not having a club, like, even last summer before he signed up with Precision in the third tier of UAE, yeah, there was a few League One clubs that inquire about, they inquire about Ravel Morrison, about, what's his salary like, what is he expecting and all of that. And, a lot of the words coming back as well, what I read on the internet and stuff like that. They said that, the asking price is a little bit too high and stuff like that. And some other clubs just didn't follow back with the process of trying to get Ravel playing for their football club, and then he went off and signed for the third tier team Precision FC in UAE as well. But if you look at Ravel track record, Ravel played probably up to 20 seasons in his career, yeah, for many different clubs around. You will say probably like 16 different clubs. You understand? Up to around 20 seasons. And if you look at his track record, over 50% of those seasons that Ravel have played in his career, he have had, Ravel had around less, I should put it like Ravel have around 12, 13 seasons where he was playing for a football club where he have single digits in appearances. You understand? You have single digits in appearances. When you look at Ravel, profile, his last real good season, yeah, is playing for Wayne Rooney, in the championship. That was like 2021-2022 season, right after the COVID. He played almost 40 games, like 5 goals, 6 assists. I think he got like double digits in goals contribution. You understand? So that was his real good season. And then after that, Wayne Rooney went on to coach, DC United and MLS. And then, he sent for Ravel Morrison. So you will say those two opportunities, real good opportunity that he got from top-notch clubs. It came because of Wayne Rooney, is coaching that football club. So when you look at it, man, like, I just think, with Ravel Morrison for the national team, I just think time is expired at this moment. We are in a crucial phase, and you telling me that all of the 72 clubs in the EFL, 24 teams in the championship, 24 teams in the League One, 24 teams in League Two. You tell me all 72 teams that's in the EFL pyramid, yeah, Ravel cannot find one club? Or you tell me that, some countries, in the far east of Europe as well, you tell me that not one club Ravel Morrison can find? No, I don't think at this moment, this player seems like he's really want to play football. It seems like it don't even bother him. It seems like it don't even bother him. Look, he's not playing in football. And I think in his career, I think he have went around two years, 2 spells where, the season run off and he's not playing for any clubs. So the Ravel Morrison situation is like, it's time now we should just move on. We don't really want much passenger on the plane. We want real people on the plane that going to dedicate themselves to playing for the national team. And we don't want the double standards around the national team. And when you look at it, in I think 2022, that campaign of trying to qualify for the World Cup in Qatar, I think Ravel, that was his spell where he played a lot of games for the national team. And I'm going to say, like, Ravel have some good qualities, where a lot of our midfielders them don't have. You understand? But when Ravel get him long spell of run for the national team, it's not like Ravel is beating down the door. It's not like Ravel is beating down the door. So no, I'm just saying, man, the fans them just move on, forget about Ravel Morrison at this time. His time is expired. He's not he's someone that seems to me don't serious about the game at this moment. It seems like more of his own situation in his own little nutshell of you telling me that even come back home in the Jamaican Premier League. I know Ravel Morrison love Jamaica. The player have a Jamaican driver's license. The player dedicate himself day in and day out every time he come and camp to play for the national team. But at this time, you telling me that this one opportunity that Ravel have over the long summer to try and find himself a football club and put himself up for selection, you telling me that he cannot find a football club out of all the 72 clubs in the EFL, or even go down to the National League, the 5th tier in England, or somewhere around the world? You telling me that he cannot find one club and say, yes, this season I'm going to dedicate myself and I'm going to cut ties. I'm going to just look, this is what I'm going to play for, and I'm going to put myself up for selection for the national team and give myself that best shot. Give myself that best shot to get picked for the reggaeboy team. None of that, Ravel. So I just think his time has passed. His time has expired for the national team. It's not like when he get his moments, Ravel Morrison is beating down the door. He look exceptionally well out of place. Like his talent is speaking volumes when he play for the national team. Yes, he had moments. He had a free kick. I think he scored at Suriname, but it's not where on a consistent level of basic where Ravel is kicking down the door of, look, yes, I deserve to be in the team even without a club at this moment. But the double standard, every time I talk about Ravel not having a club and not getting picked, it's a double standard. I love Ravel as a player. I rate the player as a footballer, but when it comes on to find himself a club, he just cannot keep a club. He just cannot keep a club. And if you look at it again, I think he done, I don't know if it was him or his agent, but there was an article as well online talking about Ravel Morrison, being boycotted by a lot of, sporting director, technical director, coaches for football clubs in England. Like, Ravel, your time in England has passed. Move away from England. Try to find different options away from England. You understand? I think what you have done in the past have damaged your reputation in England. It's all about what you can get outside of England. And you're telling me even look even across the fence, in Scotland, in Ireland, you cannot find a football club somewhere to say this season, 25-26 season, I'm going to play some football and give it the best shot so I can play in a World Cup for your country. Nah, his time has come to an end and I can't live with it no more. It's better, picking Ravel. It's best we pick some youngsters and groom them and, work with them and build them for the future. That's what I see at this moment, And the reason why I'm talking about this, I did a video yesterday and talk about the midfield issue, and this conversation always pop up around Ravel. Ravel is the best midfield player that we have available. But Ravel, it's like we more interested in Ravel find a club than Ravel trying to find himself a football club. Yes, by him, in the squad, in that little huddle, in that little group of players that in the PFA, the free agents team that the PFA farm, that would show a level of interest that the player is trying to get a club. But is it that Ravel is just looking for a club in England? Or what are his demands are too high for the club at this moment, at the age of where is he going? I don't know, man, but it's just time to move on from Ravel. But Big Bowser, the Rima Jesus, I think the club, Club Tijuana Shiolo have played 2 games, 1 competitive and 1 friendly games after the international window. And Big Bowser missed 2 games already. He missed the game, the return of action after the international break. The team played San Luis. I think they drew that game. Shamar Nicholson was injured. The team played San Diego in a friendly game. He wasn't around in that squad, so no appearance in that game. He was a shadow of himself. So, but for sure though, reports from credible outlets that cover, Shamar Nicholson, the team in Mexico, report that, I think it was right before the game, report that Shamar Nicholson is injured and need further assessment from the medical team. I don't know what kind of injury it is. They didn't state of what injury, but again, with Shamar Nicholson got picked in the September window, and it's like Steve McLaren give him another opportunity. Yeah, it's like Steve McLaren give him another opportunity, lifeline opportunity where, you know, he just, okay, forward in the team, you know, come in, you know, so what can happen, you know, not playing in the minutes, not getting enough goals, you know what I mean? Look, Bowser haven't scored, you know, since the season start, you know, and when you look at his minutes, you know, his minutes after international break, I think the team played like 5 games after the international break. No, before the international break, I think his team played like around 4 to 5 games after they finished play that League Cup in the US, where he got a lot of minutes in those games. I think they played like LA Galaxy, I think they played like Colorado and teams like that. And, you know, Bowser got his moments and he didn't score. And look, 5 games after, you know, the League Cup games in the US, Bowser only featured in 2 games. He got 70 minutes in one, he got 50 minutes in one, and you will say, look, he was lucky to be called for the national team. And look, he did paid off, you know, a little bit of what Steve McLaren, you know, put a little bit of trust in him by, you know, he got that goal versus Bermuda. You know, he came off the bench. It was a punching header in that lateral part of that game. And you would say that would have given him a little bit of confidence going forward to say, okay, it will lift his spirit. It will help the player, you know, momentum to say, okay, you know, I will continue this journey. I will, you know, build on this. You know, it was a life. Look at opportunity of him getting back into the national team wearing the black, green and gold. You know, he is a current leading goal scorer in this current crop of players for the national team. You know, so again, you know, the work that he have done, you know, since he made his debut a few years ago, that special goal that he scored on the US, you know, it's one of his best. But again, you know, where is Shamar Nicholson at this moment? You know, look, Club Tijuana in Mexico, they signed a player during the international break. They sign a player, a Moroccan player is coming from Spain. He signed from Elche. I don't remember where Elche is at. Is it that they got promoted, or are they still playing in the Primera Segunda in the second tier in Spain as well? So they sign a player, African player, Moroccan player from Elche. You know, he speak proper Spanish. The coach loving that, and he's just not in the mix of players that potentially, you know, will always go on to play minutes in the games what Club Tijuana have in front of them at this moment. So he's probably more than a fringe man at this moment, someone that is just waiting for a player to get injured, then he can get little minutes there and there. But for someone that played 5 games in Liga MX this season, no goals, you know, 3 games in the League Cup, no goals. So where does it stand for Shamar Nicholson at this moment? You know, so Big Bowser, you know, was hoping that, you know, the goal that he scored against Bermuda would have at least lifted his confidence. But then again, he got injured after international break. He missed minutes. And if you look at the Trinidad game, he got moments in the Trinidad game, and I think Kaheem Dixie gave him one where he definitely should have put the ball in the back of the net. He got a few chances in the Trinidad game to at least score against Bermudas. And, you know, if he go on to finish one of those chances that he got, you know, versus Trinidad and Tobago, that probably would have helped him to reinstate back himself into the national team. You know, come, you know, him forward, you know, score 2 goals in 2 games. That would at least say, okay, yes, Big Bowser deserve opportunity to be in around the squad again. But that's where I leave it, man. Let me know what you guys think. You know, thanks for watching. This is Nicardo Media House with the morning side again. Blessings. Ciao.